While it's pretty common knowledge that certain foods are healthy and others aren't so much, it's pretty rare that you ever get an explanation as to why. And one thing that bothers me quite a bit is when someone says to eat something because it's good for you or it's a superfood. And almost universally, what that really translates to is it grows in nature. Ironically, half the time
Well, weed also grows in nature, but it makes you retarded, bro.
it only
Like,
grows in nature because we've selected
it makes me creative, dude. You don't understand, dude. It makes me creative. It makes me think. It makes me artistic. Biggest cope known to man, guys. If anybody ever tells you weed makes them creative, just have them sit next to you and just stare at a wall for 30 minutes. Weed makes you content. It makes you like relaxed and just willing to stare at a wall, willing to look around, willing to be present in the moment, guys. So don't fall for that complete BS. Don't start smoking weed. It's a toxin. A neurotoxin just like alcohol.
bred it over thousands of years to
It makes me creative.
be that way. And when half of our leading sources of nutrition advice are Pinterest recipes, a lot of what we consider common knowledge is actually completely made up. As an example, one of the most common terms you'll see online with regards to healthy food is that something gets rid of toxins in your body, which really doesn't make any sense. If your body is filled with toxins and certain foods remove them, then that means we could have brought back Steve Irwin with a blueberry smoothie. In reality, almost all supplements or foods that get rid of toxins are really just laxatives or diuretics, so it makes you feel like they're somehow flushing something away, when in reality, you could have just put 3 shots of vodka in your latte like a regular person. The next thing you'll often run into are online
3 shots of brain damage.
recipes for anything made overnight in a mason jar telling you you're not getting enough antioxidants. And one of the ways you can tell if you're not getting enough antioxidants is by looking at your skin and seeing if it's starting to rust. And while they do play a role in your body,
Yeah, dude. I notice sometimes like I look at myself in the mirror and I just
problem with
look rusty. You know.
suggesting that you should consume more is that it's fundamentally like saying the more oil you have in your car, the less likely it is to break down, which is not true because too much actually makes things worse. The good news is that if you do have too much oil in your car, you can add the excess to your overnight oats because motor oil is also high in antioxidants. Another common idea that's recently started to shift is that you should never skip breakfast, which there is absolutely no scientific basis for except that breakfast food is my favorite. I think the funny thing is that when I used to tell people I skipped breakfast, they thought I was crazy, but now I can say I'm doing it.
I've never met a human being that gives a fuck what I eat. Like I don't know about you guys, but like I've never told somebody I don't eat breakfast, which I do most of the time, and they're like, oh, "You don't eat like they don't give a fuck."
Fasting, and they're like, oh, very disciplined, when in reality I just woke up at noon.
Intermittent fasting doesn't work. It just helps you eat less in the day, which is just a calorie deficit. Like people will be like, "Oh, it's my intermittent fasting. That's the reason I'm losing weight." Whole time they're just eating an extra, 500 calories less, and that's what's helping them lose weight. Big surprise, dude. Like,
The next thing that's often incredibly misunderstood is diet, especially with things like paleo, keto, intermittent fasting, and varying degrees of vegetarianism becoming so popular.
Vegetarianism does not work. It's just full of toxins, and like honestly, just look at this. Like, okay, I think it's not very scientific, and a lot of people are going to be in the comments like, well, that's an appeal to nature. Like, okay, all right, fine, but let me just bring the argument just for anybody who's willing to listen. Obviously, I have other videos talking about like all the science and shit, but if every baby on the planet, universally, literally every single one is repulsed by broccoli, do you think that's something that's intuitively like hardwired into us to help aid in our survival, or do you think it's just, oh, well, you just the kid doesn't like broccoli? No, no, if you have to force a kid to eat something, then it's probably not a good idea to just have it in general, right? And you might like a lot of people make the argument like, hey, well, you also don't have to force a kid to eat candy, but that's a positive. That's like a desire towards something, right? You desire drugs, but they're bad for you. That's not the same thing. Nobody would. There's not a single food company on earth who would have an incentive to make food taste bad. Yet every single food company right now, like all the the big food companies, they have an incentive to make food taste good and make you want to eat it and make you addicted to it because people come back for it more and more. Do you understand? I don't know if I explained it well, but you guys get my point. I'm sure you guys could like kind of piece it together.
Limitless jokes about how do you know if someone is a vegan because they'll tell you, ha ha ha, classic comedy. But that's not even the case anymore. I see way more people on low carb ketogenic diets post things on the internet like, look at this fool I saw today. eating an apple like an absolute normie as they show off their Costco hollow pork rinds and butter. The most important thing to know is that generally speaking, weight is regulated by calorie intake, so you have a certain amount of calories you burn in a day, and if you repeatedly intake more than that, you'll gain weight. And if you
Yeah, it's a very simple system, and I've actually created a system for getting extremely lean, extremely quick. And if you guys want to join my free school community and get 2 weeks free coaching from me, then you guys can go ahead and click the first thing in the description. So yeah,
intake less than
it's a completely free school community, and you guys can get 2 whole weeks of free coaching. Easy plug.
Now,
I just had to say it. I'm sorry.
lose weight. As a quick disclaimer, the exact amount of calories absorbed from food isn't always 100%, which is why some people claim calories in, calories out isn't true. But being more exact, calories metabolized and absorbed minus calories burned always is true. Now, for the average person, the amount of calories burned is around 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day. Then the generally accepted rule is that there is 3,500 calories in a pound of body fat. So say you wanted to get thick because it's 2019, you would have to eat roughly 500 calories above your daily maintenance for 71 days to gain 10 pounds. Then if we look at the composition of food itself, all food is made up of 3 primary macronutrients that serve a different bodily function, and each has a different caloric value. We have fat,
Fat,
has
carbs, and protein. Fat has higher calories. That's why personally, like if you guys are in a cut, you'd want to have less of it, right? Like you don't want to overdo fat, right? Like the biggest thing on a cut is to not give yourself like famine signaling, if that makes sense, right? If you're eating a lot of fat, it'll first off, it'll just be like too much, like it'll be too much calories, like you won't feel satiated enough, right? And secondly, you should also have high carbs to signal to your body you're kind of in an abundant state, so that it doesn't think you're starving and your metabolic rate can be higher, right? And then protein, it should be approximately 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I yap a whole lot about this in my school community, so you guys can go ahead and join that.
gram, protein, which has 4 calories per gram, and carbohydrates, which have 4 calories per gram as well. And then there's a fourth bonus macronutrient, alcohol, which has
we like that, guys.
calories per
Tonight I'm literally going out and drinking as much as possible. I'm getting blacked out.
gram. As for their physiological roles, loosely speaking, fat regulates hormones and stops
Alcohol makes me feel intelligent. Said
cells from
somebody
imploding.
named Face IQ.
Protein is
Dude, I swear, this dude, I feel like he might be onto something, guys. If you guys have seen that Face IQ, like the alcohol video, bro. Dude, I'm getting tempted, dude. I don't know where I would even get alcohol, bro. I'm fucking 17, bro. I'm 16. Bro, so, I don't know. Alcohol IQ, bro. We need to alcohol max.
for bodily function and muscular
I can't even fucking drive yet, bro. That's what.
regeneration. Carbohydrates are primarily for aerobic and anaerobic activity, and then alcohol, which sadly just poisons you. The good news is that because too much alcohol is toxic, if you're
Fabiola, I'm recording a video. Sorry. Dude, just wait.
and stops your cells from imploding. Protein is for bodily function and muscular regeneration. Carbohydrates are primarily for aerobic and anaerobic activity, and then alcohol, which sadly just poisons you. The good news is that because too much alcohol is toxic, if your friend is passed out in the club bathroom, you can flush out the alcohol by popping a blueberry under their tongue, just like a sensu bean. Below that, we have fiber and micronutrients, which are all your vitamins and minerals. Just make sure you get enough of these or your teeth will fall out.
Fiber is useless. I don't know, fiber gets glazed for absolutely no reason. It doesn't actually benefit you in any particular way if your diet's already good. It'll help you feel more satiated, I'll give it that. So if you're on a cut, it is kind of useful, but as a nutrient itself, it doesn't really do much. It just helps you feel more full and adds more stool to your system, which is it's just nicer, more elegant words for shit. Stool just means more shit. So you'll just shit more. because it's just a waste product. It just goes through your system because your body can't digest insoluble fiber, especially. So
Now, with these fundamentals in mind, if we start to take a look at all the popular and successful diets out there nowadays, the fact of the matter is that almost all of them have good points, but they also all have bad points. Meaning that you're not an enlightened member of the nutritional Illuminati just because you stopped eating bread. And if we take a look at all the most common diets that cover the full spectrum of plant-based to
animal based, I follow the animal based diet, but watch, she's gonna say like, "Oh, but you guys don't get enough carbs." Animal based diet can also be high carb, bro.
animal-based, we can see they all have pros and cons.
And all this isn't even these aren't even the extreme ends, bro. These are actually pretty based. Animal based and plant based are literally within the normal range, bro. The extreme ends that are like off the screen here, bro, are vegan and carnivore, which I disagree with both. But these two aren't even that like, polarizing in my opinion. I don't know.
Veganism is sustainable and very nice to the animals, but it's a bit harder to get the right macronutrients, and
Bro,
you
plant based and veganism are two different things, so I don't know what he's talking about.
constantly have to wonder if your friends don't want you for dinner because of your dietary restrictions or just your personality. Vegetarianism is sustainable and nice to the animals, but limited food choices. Paleo diets are good for weight loss, but again, limited food choice. Ketogenic diets, very good for weight loss because it massively regulates blood sugar, which affects cravings and appetite, but it's extremely limiting in terms of food choice. Not very good for anyone doing anaerobic sports because there are no available carbohydrates. But it's actually not bad if you run ultra marathons. So next time you go for a 100-mile run, make sure to bring your pepperoni holster. Carnivorous diets, these ones are a bit
Okay,
weird.
this is just missing a whole bunch of diets in between, right? Like me personally, I'm on the animal based diet, but apparently he thinks animal based is carnivore. Guys, animal based is not carnivore. Animal based is fruits, meat, dairy, and poultry, pretty much. That's like the gist of it, right? Obviously, there's more intricacies, there's more options in what you can eat, but, this is mischaracterizing what animal based means, and I don't appreciate it. What's this guy's name? I don't know, but who cares?
And they're very unsustainable, but very good for weight
Animal,
loss and
the carnivore diet sends signals to your body. Like, guys, carbs are body's preferred form of energy, right? Like, there's gonna be all these doctors. By the way, first off, I'm not gonna tell anybody to eat any diet. Period. Okay, I'm not a diet coach. I'm not gonna teach you what to eat. I'm not gonna tell you what to eat. My single thing that I say every single time: eat what you fucking want among natural whole foods. If something is natural and grows from the earth, or comes from the, or okay, if we had something 200 years ago, just eat what you want among those foods, right? So any food that we had 200 years ago, just pick whichever ones you like and eat that, and I promise you, you'll be feeling amazing. So you think, oh, meat tastes good? Oh, there you go, meat. If you think broccoli tastes good, sure, go ahead, go for it. If you think fruits taste good, which they do, go for it. You know, but obviously, nobody would ever only eat meat or only eat plants. So the optimal diet would have to be an animal-based diet, which is, you know, the best of both worlds, right? So yeah, if you guys want to learn more about that and more about why I chose the diet, and just learn more about how you guys can do it yourself, another shameless plug, go ahead, join my community, guys. I provide so much value in there. It's going to be worth it. Go ahead and join.
Immune disorders / arthritis / certain types of depression. And while there have been some pretty miraculous anecdotes, the downside is that it has not been well studied long term, and everyone at the restaurant will think you're a serial killer as you peel the breading off your KFC family bucket. For some reason, the community is also really involved with cryptocurrency, so if anyone was actually the nutritional Illuminati, this would be it. And then finally, the classic if it fits your macros, which means eating whatever
That's
you want.
also just retarded as well, because then you could fucking eat Cheetos and but it fits my macros. Like it's just some bullshit, bro. Like you don't want to do that. So yeah, do
As long
not
as it fits the
follow the if it fits your macros, because then you'll end up being a fat ass and you'll gain like 20 pounds of fat like I did back in the day in my first ever bulk when I was in middle school, and it was really bad.
Then a designated calorie limit and matches the amount of protein, fat, and carbohydrates you've allotted. This is common for athletes and people who want to be bodybuilders, but in the 7 years they've been going to the gym, they've only made 2 years worth of progress.
Pretty rocked right now. What does that mean?
Speaking of the gym, there are also a few misconceptions when it comes to exercise, and one of the most common jokes you hear in weightlifting communities is making fun of people who say, I'm just looking to tone. Because the only two variables to your physical
This one's true. This one's true. If you ever said I'm looking to tone, you need to be executed.
appearance is the
That's super based take, by the way. I'm not the first person to say that.
volume of muscle
If you say I want to be toned and you're under the age of 25, you should be executed. Especially if you say it
have and
online.
the
If you need to be executed, honestly.
volume of fat you have. It's also incredibly difficult to gain muscle. So you'll often hear girls and even guys say, you know, I'm worried that if I start lifting weights, I'll get too big.
Anybody that says that and they're under the age of 25 and not, millennials or some shit, you also need to be sentenced to life in prison.
And unfortunately, the thing is, no matter how much you believe you're an anime protagonist, it just isn't going to happen. Ultimately, there are two main ways of improving your physical health through exercise, which are strength training and cardiovascular training. In other words, how strong is your bod and how strong is your heart and lungs. And while even 30 minutes to an hour of walking a day is enough to make sure everything keeps working, further training at the gym is not only a good idea, it's a lifestyle where you can lift a heavy thing now so you can be in pain for a while and then lift a slightly heavier thing later, or ski on the elliptical until exhaustion so that once your heart eventually recovers, you'll have more love to give.
Don't buy this merch. Don't buy this merch. Don't buy this merch. Okay. I had to put in that little disclaimer. So that's pretty much it. If you guys don't join my school community, go ahead and do that. That's about it. And okay, anyways, that's it. Peace. Let me end this video.